Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the weekly Monday Motivation Podcast, No More Excuses. I am Sandy Ballard, your host, the Badass Business Coach. Don't forget to check out my website, badassbusiness.coach. Yes, pretty simple, huh? Thank you again for being here, for listening and sharing this podcast with others. And especially thank you as today starts year 7 of these podcasts. I can't even believe it. 6 years of this weekly podcast, and today is starting the year 7. So thank you for motivating me to keep going. Thank you for, those of you who've reached out and connected with me, those of you who are clients, those of you who are friends, those of you who are just listeners. Thank you, because you're the ones that keep me going. As I've asked, I always like to hear input from you, but I'd love to hear where you're listening from, but also how long you've been listening. All right, so look forward to hearing from you. Find me on social media. Instagram's usually the quickest, fastest way. So there you go. Last Monday's podcast was about checking your progress, seeing what shit you are allowing to knock you off track, and learning how to accept the things that will help you, the baby steps, and no matter how tiny of progress, all the things that will get you to where you want to go. So what did you determine? How are you digging deeper to end this first quarter as strong as possible? As I travel back to California from another successful trip in Indiana, I reflect on the meetings, the discussions, the progress checks, and the plans to achieve more. And I made a few adjustments of my own as well. I helped clients and some friends that just, work through some things, develop more strategies, definitely talked through what they were allowing and learning how to accept what they weren't before, because I do have one client who can't really accept the compliments because she's so hard on herself. So we've worked on changing that, on shifting that mindset. And so if you were the same, make sure you think about that. And as you identify the crap you've allowed to distract you and let go of what doesn't serve you, you can start moving forward towards your goals. It's an amazing feeling when you let go of things like that. Get those heavy weights off your shoulders, that baggage, get all that shit out of your mind. I've talked a great deal about mindset over the years, last year or so, as many of us have had a lot of heavy shit to think about and decisions to make that are harder when you have so much going on in your mind, when you're not in the right mindset. With ending year 6 and looking at, the next 7 years of podcasts and coaching, I have to determine what do I want to happen with the podcast, as well as in my business and my life. And I have to not allow any more distractions while I'm thinking through those things and making the strategies and making the plan and just taking those steps. I've asked you before what you want to hear about. So what keeps you coming back? I have to identify that. That's why I always ask and like to hear. I have to identify why I want to keep going as well. What changes do I want to make? Or do I want to make any changes? Do I want to make this a video blog, a vlog instead of just a podcast? So you have the option to watch it and listen, or just listen. Do I want to have more guests? Do I want to make it a talk show format? And do I want to, the big thing, do I want to monetize it? How does that even work? As business owners, we all have so many decisions in general to make, strategies to think about, questions to ask, things to learn. That's why, like in last Monday's podcast, when I shared about my attempt at writing the podcast and the distractions, I was sharing my experience, hopefully to give you an idea of what happens to many of us as we attempt to focus and think through things and really strategize. Realizing it happens, but not dwell on it. Catch yourself and get back to it. Let it go. Think about this. I've done this with so many clients in my groups. It's really fun. Write down something that's distracting you. Write down a thought or a negative thought or just something that you're not feeling good about it. Write it down, wad that paper up, and throw it. Okay, if you're in traffic, don't throw it out the window. That's littering. Throw it, stomp, tear it up. Get rid of it. Let it go. All right? You can do that. Because we have 2 more weeks in this first quarter. There's lots of time to get things going in the year, But why do we wait? Why do so many people wait to get things going at the beginning of each year? Why do we hesitate and procrastinate? What keeps us from starting the year strong and really kicking ass so we can get to the end of the first quarter and be like, all right, here's some huge success right off the bat? Some of you are. Some of my clients said in February when we did the 1 month check-in that they were kicking ass and the year started off strong. Not everyone is off track. But are you where you wanted to be? Are you where you thought you'd be? And also, what have you achieved? I'm celebrating finishing 6 years of having people from all over the world listening to me. From a few hundred downloads at first to thousands. From just Indiana to all over the United States and now in 89 countries. And as I mentioned, it's time to decide if and what I need and want to do with the podcast. And you are part of that. But think about, what are you celebrating right now? Personally or professionally? What's something that is starting another trip around the sun? What will you continue to keep fresh? What will you do to keep it alive and fun and in front of your clients and customers? What do you need to make changes on about it? Or do you? Do you keep it the same? McDonald's hasn't changed the Big Mac or quarter pounder with cheese recipe, have they? Sometimes we want what is exactly what we've always had. Not that comfort zone, not that type of comfort, but just the consistency of what we know. It is a dilemma. We all heard, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? But then, what do we do? Do we keep improving things to keep it fresh? Technology is always improving. Does everything need improving? What are your thoughts? I'm interested in hearing. Email me, sandy@sandyballard.com, Sandy with an I. And think about, what's something you've had, produced, sold for years. When is the last time you really looked at the process, the end result, the satisfaction from your clients and customers? When's the last time you gave your world an upgrade? I'm interested. Again, what are your thoughts on that? Do you need to upgrade something? Do you need to fix it if it ain't broke? Do you need to keep it fresh so people want to keep coming back to get it? I look forward to hearing from you and talking more about this throughout the week on social media. Have a great week. Look forward to hearing from you. Cheers.